Hello there friends and welcome. For today's Pathfinder build we have everything about the Titan Fighter archetype. This is the only character in the game that can dual wield two-handed weapons. Kinda like the monkey grip feat from older editions of D&D. This way you get to combine the best of both worlds with an amazing amount of attacks per round. By virtue of dual wielding we are talking about 9 with our glaives here, with extreme damage per hit as well by virtue of two-handed weapons. You'll have around 250 max damage on normal attacks and even higher than 1000 and a few hundred on your critical hits. And we'll of course be going with the Trickster mythic path, but you can also go legend later to enhance our martial side to the max, especially with higher critical range and critical damage. So without further ado, let us get into our Titan Fighter guide for Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. First, with an overview on the main and core class mechanics. And well, the Titan Fighter is a pretty simple and easy to understand archetype. As I mentioned before, it's the only way of dual wielding two-handed weapons, your main feature. Sadly, they are treated as one-handed, as far as increased damage from the power attack feat. But you'll have other ways of increasing your damage. For starters, at level 9, the Giant Smite feature will ensure all of your attacks when dual wielding two-handed weapons will add 1.5 times your strength modifier to weapon damage. This even becomes stronger at 17 with Unstoppable Strike, so now you'll add twice your strength modifier on weapon damage rolls, which of course means the higher your strength, the better. Besides that, every few levels, instead of a fighter bonus feat, you'll get the Massive Attacks feature, which is also a bonus feat, but the same as the Ranger two-weapon combat style ones. This of course is amazing because it lets you qualify for all the two-weapon fighting feat for free, regardless of your dexterity score, so you can truly focus all out into strength. Lastly, while you don't have weapon training, which is kinda sad, you'll get the Incredible Heft power, which essentially increases your attack and damage with two-handed weapons by a +1 every few levels. Now, before getting into our Titan Fighter build, I just want to cover how to properly play this character, especially during the beginning of the game, as I know it's a common concern. Alright, so the main weakness of playing a Titan Fighter is how massive the penalties to your attack rolls are when dual wielding two-handed weapons. For starters, we have a -6 on both the main and offhand, which of course can be quite crippling early in the game. Later you'll have more than enough bonuses to make up for that, but very early, it's definitely annoying. There are some ways of overcoming that, however. First, I decided to go with glaives. They don't have very good critical range, as a matter of fact it's pretty poor, but have high critical damage. On the other hand, with a Trickster, we can overcome this just fine. Glaives are unique in that even early in the game, you can already find a lot of masterwork glaives, which of course enhance your attack rolls. This is only the first dungeon, which by the way, is the hardest part of the game. Later you can also find very nice glaives, including one of the ultimate weapons in the game, as they are the favorite weapon of Baphomet, the Demon Lord. Also, something very unique to glaives is that in the very first dungeon of the game, you can find a tome that when used by the main character will increase your attack rolls with glaives by an untyped amount, so stacks with everything else by a +1. And it just happens to be that no other weapon type in the game has a bonus like this. But of course you can still go with higher critical range weapons like Fauchards or Falchions. Anyways, the second part in overcoming our attack rolls penalties is the classic charge out of battle strategy, which is even better for this type of character. I've already covered this many times in the past, but so long as the enemies have not detected you yet, you can simply charge with all melee party members, which matters because first you'll get a free attack. Second, we already got a critical with our two-handed dual wielding Titan Fighter, but anyways, by charging out of battle you'll also catch most enemies flat-footed, which of course is amazing because it means less AC for them. Charging also means a +2 to your attack rolls, so it's a match made in heaven. And by having all characters reach the enemy so fast, you'll also flank them, so it's a win-win-win situation. Last but not least, you also have the power attack feature. Why? Because it qualifies you for cleave and cleaving finish. Ideally, you don't want to turn power attack on so early because of course it's even bigger penalties to attack rolls. Because of the way cleave works, as the cleave feat will still provide you with 2 attacks so long as you're fighting one enemy next to another. Just like dual wielding, 2 attacks at the start, but without the very crippling -6 penalty to attack rolls, of course. Yes, it kinda defeats the point of playing a class about dual wielding two-handed weapons, but this is only until around level 5 or so, when you start getting higher bonuses to attack rolls. But I've already provided you with multiple other ways of handling it. So now let us finally get into our Titan Fighter build. First with character creation. For race, I'll be going with human, it's the one I prefer above all others, but it's not necessary. As a fighter, even a Titan fighter, you'll still have lots and lots of feats. But early on, it's the way to go for more power. The classic street urchin and pickpocket background, as always. Your stats are pretty simple. Maximum strength writer character creation, we are talking about 20. You really want that for the highest amount possible to your attack rolls, the earliest, and more damage. Followed by around 14, even 16 constitution if you want. And for that, you can just dump all the mental stats, they are completely unnecessary for our Titan fighter. So you can have 16 constitution and let's say 14 dexterity by dumping something like charisma to 7. For skills, it's also very simple, just athletics and whatever else you want. Ideally use magic device, so you can also use scrolls from other classes. For the level 1 feats, the classic power attack package, so power attack, followed by cleave, and lastly, cleaving finish. I've already explained why you're getting these feats. And yes, you don't want to turn power attack on early, it's just a prerequisite for our other feats. For deity, pick whatever you want, but since you're going trickster, one that allows the chaotic alignments like Kaden, and either chaotic good or neutral. Although evil also works for trickster depending on deity. Good is better for higher saving throws, however. If you went with human, you'll have an extra skill point on some levels. You can put that anywhere you want, including, let's say, perception. Then for your massive attacks feature at the 2nd level, 2-weapon fighting of course, so we can finally start dual wielding two-handed weapons properly. Then for level 3, weapon focus into your weapon of choice as to reduce the penalty from dual wielding. I've already explained why I'm going with glaives, but you can go with anything you want. But if you want to go for shards, remember to get exotic proficiency into them at this point. At level 4, increase your strength, the same for all the other levels. Then grab weapon specialization into your weapon of choice. For level 5, the classic outflank as always. The only true must-have feat for any melee character. Well, besides improved critical later. Then for level 6, improves 2-weapon fighting, so now you'll have 2 attacks with your dual-wielded two-handed weapons. For level 7, be sure to go with lunge. This will add even higher reach to your melee attacks. You already have them by virtue of glaives, or for shards if you prefer. And now you'll get to attack from an even bigger distance, which of course means you won't care about AC because enemies will never hit you. For level 8, be sure to grab armor focus into medium armor. It is true that, as I said before, you don't care about AC, but medium armor focus is necessary for mythic medium armor, which will increase your damage on every single attack by a lot. That only comes at the 2nd mythic level, which should be at this point, character level 8 if you did all the content in the game so far. But otherwise you can already go for improved critical into your weapon of choice now. I'll just delay it for 1 level anyways. For level 9, as I mentioned before, it's finally time to get into improved critical and your weapon of choice. Then for level 10, the last dual wielding feat, greater 2-weapon fighting for the 3rd offhand attack. For level 11, greater weapon focus at last into your weapon of choice. Or if you're already mythic 4 at this point, you can if you rush for it. As a trickster, you can already start getting the special trickster critical feats. I'll just delay them for the next level because that is when I hit mythic 4. Then for level 12, as a bonus feat, the first trickster special critical feat. So be sure to level your character to mythic 4 with the perception to mythic trick before getting this level. This way you're already start increasing the critical range of your glaives to make up for their poor default base criticals. For level 13, the second or the third special trickster critical feat. So now your glaives will already have the maximum critical range possible for them anyways. For level 14 you might as well pick double slice because you can get it for free now for higher damage on your offhand attacks. For level 15, the last special trickster feat for the highest critical damage, something glaives do excel at. For level 16 it's time to get greater weapon specialization into glaives at last. I'm not sure why the thumbs down here. Level 17 means the highly powerful Unstoppable Strike feature and another feat. And honestly, from this point onwards, you can really pick whatever you want. You will already have the best feats by far. Which is why I said you don't really have to be a human. Some options are combat reflexes, but there are other ways in the game of enhancing your attacks of opportunity, like Ever Ready. Also improved cleaving finish, which requires great cleave. Something fun I like doing is picking the Metamagic completely normal spell, Special Trickster feat, because with this, you'll have double the casts of your ultimate trickster spell, which is what sets your critical range to 100%. And I think you have enough attacks and damage that you don't really need great cleave and improved cleaving finish. Don't forget you can also get Dazzling Display and Shatter Defenses now, but at this point you have enough bonuses to attack rolls as is. Now, at level 18 plus you could actually multiclass because you already have all of your strongest features including Unstoppable Strike. I just find it to be a waste because the Fighter Capstone ability Weapon Mastery is really good and is very close. So you might as well remain a pure Titan fighter. For the 18 massive attacks bonus feat, pick whatever you want. I'll just be going with toughness because the other ones don't matter that much, but you can also pick dodge. Whatever you want for 19, I'll just pick combat reflexes because I have the space for it. You can also go with Arcane Strike for higher damage if you prefer. Level 20 means our Capstone Weapon Mastery into your main weapon, for me glaives, for even higher critical damage, followed by whatever feat you want. I'll just go with Blind Fight because some enemies in the game at this point have concealment sources that you can't bypass through spells and buffs, so it helps to have it as a feat instead. Now let us cover Mythic Progression for our Titan fighter. Close to the Abyss is worthless if you went with a reach weapon like I did, because it will clash with your glaive attacks. So instead, go with either Close to the Heavens if you want to heal your characters, or Instrument of Freedom to buff their weapons with holy damage. Always great for pre-buffing before tough battles and boss encounters. And for Mythic level 1, I'll just be going with the classic Last Stand. It's not necessary for Dispute because you have Reach for extra defenses, but it is the ultimate ability in the game for survivability. You might as well pick it now, especially good if you are on Unfair, as it will make you pretty much unkillable. Then for the second Mythic level, Mythic Armor Focus, Medium Armor and Assault. This will increase all of your melee damage by an additional 1d6 plus your armor's AC. So it's great for extra damage, as we have a lot of dual wielded two-handed attacks. If you want to delay this for later, however, you can already pick Mythic Critical now if you picked Improved Critical at level 8. Then for Mythic 3, Ever Ready as always, also a must-have for any melee character. And at this point your characters are already all outfitted with Outflank and Improved Critical for maximum efficiency with attacks of opportunity. Then Arcana rank 1 for your Mythic trick as usual, so you can increase the enhancement bonuses on gear you find. Then for Mythic 4, Mythic Critical, because at this point you'll have the Trickster boosting critical feats. And speaking about that, Perception rank 1 and Perception rank 2 to qualify for our Trickster special feats. For Mythic level 5 you have a few different options. Mythic Charge if you have a SKALD party member, otherwise it's rather worthless. But something very fun you can do now is pick Master Shapeshifter to increase your strength or physical scores really even further. While you don't have a spell that can do it, at least on your spellbook, at this point you can also pick the Mythic trick Infuse Magic Device, which increases your caster level, so the duration of all the scrolls you use to proc Master Shapeshifter on yourself instead. For your Mythic feat at 6 you have a few options. I would rather focus into more damage, which is why I won't bother with stuff like Mythic to weapon fighting, because honestly, it is way easier to get bonuses to attack rolls and stack them to the max then it is bonuses to damage. So either Mythic Weapon Specialization into Glaives or your weapon of choice, or Mythic Power Attack, as at this point you can definitely turn Power Attack on, even with the penalties to dual wielding two-handed weapons. Then Athletics rank 1, followed by the second Athletics Mythic trick. For Mythic 7, anything you want. Since I do have a SKALD, I'll be going with Mythic Charge, followed by Knowledge World 1, and Athletics 3 rank, which does of course result in an extra attack and higher Power Attack and Mythic Power Attack damage. For Mythic 8, Mythic Weapon Specialization into whatever you want. You can even pick Mythic Weapon Focus at this point if you prefer, higher attack rolls. Then Lore Religion 1, followed by Knowledge World rank 2. This will increase your critical range even further, but most importantly, not failing anymore because you rolled a 1 is godly, and this works for all party members. As far as Mythic 9, pick whatever you want. I'll be going with Unrelenting Assault. Then Lore Nature 1, and Lore Religion 2, so you can get some domains and domain abilities for free. There's honestly a lot of options here, including Animal for the pet, but at this point in the game, it's kind of okay. Something I like doing is Artifice for the Lead Blade spell, and also Law for Axiomatic on Demand, which is extra damage against demons. The WAR domain is pretty fun too, it can increase your damage even further, and even provides an extra feat. You might as well go with Law and WAR, because as far as Lead Blades, you can get scrolls of that, which will be enhanced because of your Infuse Magic device ability. WAR also grants you Divine Power, one of the best self buffs, with bonuses that usually you can't get anywhere else. Now let us cover gear for our Titan Fighter. For amulets, as always Valexius, you want as highest strength as possible. This way, you truly have an absurd amount of extra damage by virtue of your Titan Fighter features that can even double your strength modifier to damage on all attacks. For armor, we went with medium armor because the Life Infuser is the new best armor in the game for higher damage, as it will increase your strength and constitution by a massive +8 untype, something you cannot get anywhere else. Plus, through Mythic Medium Armor Assault, it also increases your damage. But earlier in the game, just go with the Chainmail of Camaraderie, which was, by the way, one of the top tier armor picks for damage. Now it's even better because it's medium armor. For shirts and robes, ultimately Wandering Conman, by virtue of the huge bonus to athletics, and of course the extra bonus to attacks of opportunity. Besides that, just the robe of the Sin Mage for higher caster level when using your Trickster buffs. For belts, early belts of strength, later Arrogance belt as always because of the massive bonus to both attack and damage. For gloves, Fencer's Gift all the way because it does work when dual wielding or two-handed weapons, for a very welcome bonus to damage. Boosts can be whatever you want. I have Ronek's Sacrifice here, but it's not necessary for this character as it's not dexterity based. For helmets, just the classic Hat of the Bitter End for the absurd stacking power to attack rolls whenever killing an enemy. Then for glasses, Rasmir's Mask, but you can also save it for another character and instead go for the classic Broken Trickster. For cloaks, the new Ultimate Generic Cloak, the Grand Festival Cloak for the highest bonus to saving throws. Then for rings, Triumphant Advance as always for the maximum bonuses to damage and attack rolls, followed by the Ring of Imminent Demise, which can increase your damage and attack rolls with two-handed weapons and does work when dual wielding them. It's just that if you have a SKALD, because their main ability provides a competence bonus to attack rolls, you will only get the bonus to damage instead, but well, it's still great. You can also go with Guiding Star if you want higher initiative, something this character didn't really focus into. And for braces, as always the new best ones, the Braces of Slaughter for the absurd bonus to damage, 3d10 force with all our dual wielded two-handed weapon attacks. Now let us cover weapons and Quickslots for our Titan Fighter. As I mentioned before, I went with glaives. Good thing, because one of the best weapons in the game is a glaive, the Mutilated Angel. Whenever you attack an evil creature, so all demons, all enemies that really matter, you'll get a +5 bonus to attack roll on type, so stacks with everything, and even deal an additional 1d12 slashing damage on hit. It doesn't end there, because whenever you hit the enemy, you also inflict a stacking penalty to their AC. with a maximum of -5. There's nothing else that needs to be said, it's amazing. And you might as well dual wield it with Finian, the talking weapon, with its maximum version. Earlier in the game you have other nice glaives, especially Soul Shear, which can summon a demon whenever you kill an enemy, something very fun, including even Mighty Balors. For Quickslots, a greater quicken rod, so you can quicken Trickster buffs on demand. Most importantly for Trick Fate, so you can have 100% criticals, if you don't want to pre-buff with it. But ideally you should pre-buff, because you can then combine it with the Extend Metamagic Rod through the completely normal spell Metamagic variant of Trick Fate, so it becomes a level 6 spell, which is why I said getting completely normal is really good. This way you have even higher than 30 seconds duration on your Trick Fate, which is definitely enough for any battle in the game. And well, besides that, just Jarsigax for higher damage, Lucky Dice, which also fits the Trickster, Bismuth as always for a pet if you want, and that's pretty much it. Oh, of course, don't forget your scrolls, because you do have Use Magic Device. Most importantly, either Frightful Aspect or Aspect of Animal scrolls, because it's what will qualify you for the Master Shapeshifter bonus. And through the Trickster Use Magic Device trick, we have higher duration on our scrolls, so you won't have to spam them as much. Well, alright friends, so this was it for our Titan Fighter build. If you found this guide useful as always, please remember to like, subscribe, and also consider becoming a channel member if you can. I really appreciate your support. The next guide is probably the Insider SKALD. Thank you for watching and see you next time, friends.